Hello Rebel and welcome back to my life. There's been so many things that I've wanted to talk about and haven't been able to figure out how to talk about it. YouTube's been making changes. Every single website on the internet is sending us updates on their privacy policy. Total Biscuit died yesterday and he was such a huge part of my life years ago, although I fell out of his audience and I don't know how to feel about that and I don't know how to make a video about that. And then last night my wife and I got a date night, which we don't get to do very often. I had a little bit too much to drink of too many different types of alcohol, and this morning I regret. And weirdly, my first thought was, oh, well, I can make a video about that. So here it is, my hangover answering your questions video. The first question that I got was from Maddie Franklin, who said, how would you describe how the inside of your mouth currently feels? Like, did you know when you were asking the question that you would make me think about it, which would just immediately make the feeling infinitely worse? But to answer your question, the inside of my mouth feels like it's filled with a dog's ass, except the dog's ass is actually made out of cotton balls that are flavored like burnt coffee. Dave Bulmer says in all caps, hi, shall I open the curtains? That much? Yeah? Is that a yes? Okay, cool. Whistle, whistle, whistle. Okay, I actually don't understand why bright lights supposedly hurt people when they have hangovers or like a headache or whatever. The fact that your message is in all caps, however, that is actually somehow causing me a little bit of pain. Kakartog says, why is Lauren not spelled Lauren? I feel like your books would be longer and that is a selling point. You know, I have never considered this strategy of increasing my income. I should do this with other characters too. It should be Jam and Agnes. Kavatoya, whose name I am definitely mispronouncing, says, how long does it take you to write a book on average? Boy, that's a question. Okay, so in terms of actual work hours, it takes me about 100 to 120 hours to write a book. And when you hear that, you might be apt to think, as I have been apt to think in the past, oh, well then if you just dedicated yourself to it, you could write a book in 3 weeks. Couldn't you? By actual statistic, it turns out that it takes me about 4.5 months on average to write a book. It shouldn't, and I'm trying to speed that up. But it does. Stuart says, man up, Garrett, I'm Scottish. My very existence is a hangover. Well, see, then you're probably used to it. And Megan, not my Megan, asked the question, what's the best way to avoid a hangover? Stay drunk. You know I'm considering resorting to that right now. Oh yes, I did not ask the question about whether I explore the different ways that my plot could have gone and ever like write out alternate storylines where a decision point could have gone another way in one of my books. When it comes to alternative stuff like that, my personal experience has been that fanfic always handles that better than the author ever could. Seriously, if people start writing underwhelmed fanfic, I'm gonna die from happiness. I haven't seen any yet. I've seen some fan art, and that already gives me heart palpitations. Fanfic, I'm just gonna die, which would be a sweet relief at this point in my life. And finally, Anonymous says, if two guys were on the moon and one killed the other with a rock, would that be fucked up or what? I mean, yeah. Thank you to everybody who submitted a question for me to answer in this grumpy, painful YouTube video. You can check out another less grumpy, less painful video on my channel. Or if you want, you could be a patron of mine on Patreon. Patreon is basically how I'm able to take my wife out on a date, which I should really do more often. So if you want to help me do that, it's right over there. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time I make a video. Bye!